You felt it. A sudden pull in your gut telling you not to take that road. A strange coincidence that leads you to exactly what you needed without even asking. A string of repeating numbers on a clock, on receipts, on license plates. Until you can't ignore it anymore. Something is reaching out. Not in words, not in logic, but through sensation, pattern, rhythm. Guidance. This isn't chance. And it isn't chaos. It's communication. There's a subtle language behind reality. A system of signals far older than speech, yet more relevant than ever in today's fragmented world. This language is the way the universe guides you, speaks to you, and reflects the deeper intelligence within your own consciousness. Most people pass through life unaware that they're surrounded by signals. They call it luck. They dismiss it as random, but they're missing something vital. The universe does not speak English. It doesn't shout over the noise. It whispers through your intuition. It nudges you with timing, paints messages in your dreams. It moves through your emotions like waves, pulling you toward resonance, pushing you away from distortion. And the most powerful part? You already know this language. You've just stopped paying attention to it. In this video, we're going to break it down. You'll learn how to recognize the signs. You'll begin to understand what your inner guidance system really is, how it works, why it matters, and how to reconnect with it in practical ways. You'll see how consciousness, emotion, and vibration form an interactive bridge between your inner world and the outer universe. This is not about superstition. This is about alignment. When you learn how to hear the signals again, how to interpret them and respond, you step into a level of clarity and connection most people never realize is possible. And when that happens, life doesn't just make more sense. It becomes electric with purpose. Here's what you can expect today. You'll discover how synchronicities are more than coincidences. They're intelligent markers guiding your path. You'll tap into the true nature of intuition, not as a vague feeling, but as a powerful guidance technology built into your being. You'll explore how your energetic frequency influences what you experience, and how to raise it to match what you desire. You'll gain insight into dreams, symbols, and archetypes, and learn how to decode them as messages from deeper layers of reality. You'll finally understand how your emotions are not random, but precise navigational tools showing you your alignment in every moment. And you'll be equipped with methods to stay connected to this guidance daily, so that your choices, creations, and direction come from a place of true inner knowing. This is the language of the universe. You've been immersed in it your entire life. It's time to learn how to hear it again. Let's begin. You check the clock. 11:11. Again. A minute later, you get a message from someone you were just thinking about. You walk outside, feeling uncertain about a decision, and a song plays from a passing car with lyrics that strike you like a direct answer. These aren't random glitches in a chaotic universe. These are synchronicities, meaningful alignments that defy logic yet speak directly to your awareness. They don't follow the rules of causality, but they reveal an intelligence at work just beneath the surface. Synchronicity is not coincidence. Coincidence is chance. Synchronicity is pattern. This purpose hiding in plain sight. Carl Jung first introduced this concept to the modern world, describing synchronicity as a meaningful coincidence of two or more events, where something other than the probability of chance is involved. In simpler terms, it's when your internal world and the external world reflect each other with uncanny precision. And that reflection is the message. Synchronicities show up when something inside you is aligning with something greater than you. They're guideposts, confirmation signals, or sometimes gentle warnings. They carry emotional weight. They spark recognition. They stop you in your tracks. Let's go deeper. The human mind is wired to notice patterns. But beyond the brain's natural tendency, your consciousness is constantly interfacing with a field of information. A living matrix that includes your thoughts, your emotional state, your desires, and your unconscious intentions. When this internal state becomes synchronized with a larger flow of energy, you begin to see reflections of it all around you. The universe starts communicating, not through words, but through events, symbols, and timing. So why do certain numbers keep appearing? Sequences like 1111, 222, or 444 are among the most commonly reported synchronicities. These are not just quirky number patterns. They are energetic signatures. Numbers have vibrational meanings, and when you repeatedly notice specific ones, it's often a signal that your awareness is opening to alignment, or that you're being invited to pay closer attention to what's happening internally. Maybe you're at a turning point. Maybe a decision is near. The numbers act like cosmic breadcrumbs, subtle indicators that you're being guided. The same goes for animal symbols, phrases, images, or even people who appear at precisely the moment you need them. These synchronicities may not make sense immediately, but they stir something within you. That stirring is recognition. That's the real message. Still, not all synchronicities are signs to act. Some are simply confirmations. They say, yes, you're on the right path. Others highlight a need to shift direction. The key is in how they make you feel. Does the moment bring a sense of clarity, excitement, peace, or even unease? That emotional texture is the signal's frequency. Don't analyze it. Sense it. So, how do you become more receptive to these signs? First, presence. You cannot recognize synchronicity if your mind is stuck in autopilot. Pay attention. When something unusual happens, don't dismiss it. Pause. Ask yourself, what was I just thinking? What emotion was I feeling? Often, the synchronicity mirrors that exact state. Second, openness. You don't have to understand the meaning right away. Just being willing to receive without needing immediate answers keeps the channel clear. Third, documentation. Keep a synchronicity journal. When you record repeating patterns, over time you'll see how the universe speaks to you uniquely. Your guidance system has a personal dialect. Fourth, intention. When you ask for a sign, be specific but stay unattached. Let go of how it will show up. The more relaxed your expectation, the more fluidly the message can arrive. Now, it's important to note that synchronicities are not commands. They're not telling you what to do. They are reflections, opportunities for deeper awareness. Respond, don't react. When the right song plays, or a stranger says something that perfectly answers a question you've been sitting with, the message isn't always literal. It's vibrational. It's pointing you inward, asking, what part of you already knew this? Synchronicity is less about predicting the future and more about awakening your presence to what's true now. Over time, your sensitivity sharpens. You'll start recognizing not just moments, but patterns of moments. Sequences that link across time. This is when synchronicity becomes something more, a dialogue. A rhythmic exchange between your individual self and the greater intelligence that holds everything together. Many people wait for thunderclaps of clarity, but the universe speaks in whispers. Synchronicities are quiet echoes that ripple through your awareness when you're aligned. The more you trust them, the more frequent they become. Not because the universe changes, but because your ability to listen does. Synchronicity is the language of alignment. It's your signal that something in your energy is tuning into a greater pattern. Not imposed, not manipulated, but mirrored. So next time you notice the same number appear 3 times in one day. Next time a stranger offers you a sentence that feels like it was meant for you. Next time everything clicks into place for no logical reason at all. Pause. You're not imagining it. You're listening. Let's continue. Next, we explore a guidance tool even more powerful than synchronicity, your own intuition. It's not what you think. Literally. There's a signal inside you that doesn't shout. It doesn't follow logic. It doesn't care about statistics, trends, or past experience. Yet it knows. Before the mind can analyze, before the emotions fully register, it delivers a subtle truth. A knowing. A quiet certainty. Sometimes it comes as a physical pull in the chest. Other times as a soft whisper that says, don't go there, or this is it. This is intuition. And it's not just a feeling. It's a form of intelligence. In fact, it may be the most accurate compass you have. Intuition is not irrational. It's non-rational. It operates outside the bounds of conscious reasoning, tapping into deeper currents of data that the conscious mind can't access in real time. Where logic uses steps, intuition leaps. Modern science is just beginning to scratch the surface of how powerful it is. The heart has been shown to receive intuitive signals seconds before the brain even registers an event. In studies on decision-making, people often make better choices when they listen to gut instinct over calculated reasoning. Why? Because intuition pulls from a deeper database. Your subconscious mind is absorbing billions of bits of information constantly. Patterns, micro-expressions, environmental cues, all filtered beneath your awareness. Intuition is the mechanism through which that vast hidden awareness communicates with your conscious self. But it doesn't end there. Intuition also connects to something beyond personal experience. It interfaces with what many call the collective field, the non-local source of information that exists outside space and time. This is why intuition can sometimes warn you of danger before it happens. Why it can lead you to someone or something without knowing why. It's a bridge between your conscious mind and universal intelligence. So how do you know it's intuition and not fear, projection, or wishful thinking? The answer lies in the texture of the experience. Intuition has a different tone than emotion. It's not charged with panic, obsession, or anxiety. It doesn't spin out scenarios or demand urgent action. It's calm, clear, neutral, feels like still water, not crashing waves. And unlike fear, which shouts to be heard, intuition will whisper once and go silent if ignored. To really hear it, you have to quiet the noise. This is why intuition strengthens when you create stillness. Meditation, breathwork, nature, even silent walks. All of these open the internal space required to receive subtle signals. But beyond stillness, it also requires trust. The more you act on intuition, the stronger it becomes. The more you ignore it, the more faint the signal gets. It's like a muscle, not one of effort, but of listening. Start small. Begin by asking your intuition simple questions. Should I make this call now? Is this the right place for me today? Then wait. Don't force an answer. See what arises. Often it comes as a quick yes or no, without reasoning. That's the signal. You'll recognize it by how it bypasses mental debate entirely. Here's something important to understand. Your intuition won't always align with what's comfortable. It might lead you to end something you've grown attached to. It might nudge you to speak truth when silence would be easier. It doesn't care about your comfort zone. It cares about your alignment. And that's what makes it so powerful. It doesn't get confused by emotional narratives. It cuts through them. Still, people often override it. They say, I knew I shouldn't have gone there. I knew something was off. But they didn't listen because logic won the argument. Because fear distorted the clarity. Because someone else's opinion seemed louder. This is the real challenge. Learning to recognize intuition in a world addicted to analysis. To go further, you can begin training your intuitive channel. One of the most effective ways is through sensory awareness. The body is often the first place intuition lands. A sense of expansion or constriction, heaviness or lightness, warmth or chill. These physical sensations act as messengers. The solar plexus is a common center where intuition speaks. That tightening in the stomach before a bad decision. The flutter before something meaningful. That's not just biology. It's bioenergetic guidance. Start paying attention to how your body reacts before your mind jumps in. Often, your first impulse contains the purest signal. Another method is through imagery. Ask a question, then close your eyes. See what image arises. It may not make sense logically, but intuition speaks symbolically. A doorway, a cliff, a clear sky, these are responses. You don't have to interpret them perfectly. Just notice how they feel. And then there's the dream state. Many intuitive downloads come during sleep because the rational filter relaxes. Dreams aren't random. They are the unconscious mind processing and transmitting guidance. Start recording your dreams. Look for repeated themes, messages, symbols. Over time, your intuitive literacy increases. Now here's a deeper truth. Intuition often leads you to paths you wouldn't have chosen, but needed. It challenges the ego's assumptions. It disrupts safe routines. And in doing so, it opens doors to growth, healing, and connection that were invisible before. You might not always like where it points you at first, but you'll rarely regret listening. One of the myths is that intuition is only for big life decisions, but it functions constantly. It's operating while you're choosing your food, interacting with others, even scrolling online. Every moment is an opportunity to listen or override. Start treating intuition not as a rare spark, but as an ongoing dialogue. Speak to it, thank it, trust it. The more respect you give it, the more refined it becomes. Over time, you'll begin to notice that decisions become easier. Not because everything is certain, but because your alignment becomes stronger. You begin moving in sync with something larger than personal desire, something deeper than thought. You're not guessing anymore. You're guided. The mind wants proof. Intuition offers clarity. The mind asks questions. Intuition holds answers that don't need explaining. Once you begin trusting this inner guidance, life begins to shape itself around it. The right people appear. The wrong doors close. You begin sensing the truth in moments that others overlook. And in that space, fear begins to lose its grip, because you're no longer navigating blindly. You're listening. Up next, we're going to explore another layer of this inner language, one that explains why some people pick up these signals more clearly than others. It's not just about awareness. It's about frequency. There's a reason some people seem to move through life with clarity, while others constantly feel disconnected and confused. It's not always intelligence. It's not always effort. It's frequency. Everything in the universe is energy, not metaphorically, literally. At the most fundamental level, all matter is vibration. Atoms aren't solid objects. They're patterns of movement. And so are you. Your thoughts have a frequency. Your emotions emit energy. Your state of being is like a broadcast signal, and that signal determines what you perceive, what you attract, and how clearly you receive the guidance meant for you. This is why two people can walk through the same experience and come out with entirely different outcomes. One tunes into the message. The other misses it completely. The difference isn't luck. It's vibration. Think of your body like a radio. The universe is constantly transmitting. Signals are everywhere. Guidance, insight, intuition, alignment. But you can only hear what matches your current frequency. When you're in states like gratitude, peace, inspiration, or love, your vibration expands. Your awareness sharpens. You notice synchronicities more often. Intuition flows naturally. Emotions feel balanced. Decisions become easier. But when you're stuck in fear, resentment, shame, or anxiety, your frequency contracts. You move into static. Your signal becomes unclear. Messages that would otherwise reach you are drowned in internal noise. This isn't punishment. It's physics. Your emotional state acts like a tuner. If you want to access higher guidance, you don't push harder. You shift your state. So how do you change your frequency? Start by observing. What are you feeding your mind daily? Who are you surrounding yourself with? What stories are you telling yourself? Each of these inputs either raises or lowers your vibration. For example, when you wake up and immediately scroll through conflict-driven media, you're aligning with stress. Your body enters defense mode. Your intuition goes quiet. But when you begin your day with breath, stillness, or even a few moments of gratitude, the energy shifts. Your nervous system calms. You become a better receiver. Next, pay attention to your internal dialogue. Your words carry charge. Saying, "I'm stuck," broadcasts limitation. Saying, "I'm in a process of unfolding," transmits possibility. This isn't toxic positivity. It's energetic responsibility. You are always in resonance with something. The question is, what are you reinforcing? Now let's look at emotions. Every emotion has a vibrational signature. Shame sits low on the spectrum. It's dense, heavy, and magnetic to distortion. Joy and love sit high. They're light, open, and expansive. But this doesn't mean you have to suppress so-called negative emotions. Quite the opposite. Suppressed emotion traps energy, keeps your frequency locked. The way to shift is to feel fully, then release. Let the energy move through without attachment to the story. Emotion is energy in motion. When it flows, you recalibrate. Movement also affects frequency. Stagnation lowers vibration. But walking, stretching, dancing, even shaking your body shifts energy. Tells your system we're no longer frozen. Breath is another powerful tool. Shallow breathing keeps the body in a state of contraction. Deep, intentional breath reactivates life force. It reopens the channel. And then there's environment. Everything you keep around you influences your energetic field. Clutter, noise, toxic people, these all cloud your internal channel. On the other hand, being in nature, listening to music that stirs your spirit, and surrounding yourself with intentional spaces raises your resonance. You don't need perfection. You need awareness. And with awareness, you begin to notice a new kind of feedback. Your reality starts reflecting your state more obviously. For instance, when your vibration is low, you might notice miscommunications, delays, or confusion piling up. But when your frequency rises, there's more flow. Things align. People show up at the right moment. Opportunities feel organic. This is not coincidence. It's entrainment. Reality mirrors your vibration. Now, there's a crucial insight here. Raising your frequency isn't about being happy all the time. It's about coherence. Coherence means your thoughts, emotions, and actions are aligned. You're congruent. You're not pretending to be calm while suppressing anger. You're honest. You're present. And that presence becomes a clear signal. The universe responds not to masks but to vibration. So even in grief or loss, you can still maintain a high-frequency state if you remain truthful, conscious, and open to the process. On the other hand, fake positivity or forced gratitude can distort your signal. It's not about faking light. It's about removing what blocks it. This brings us to the concept of energetic hygiene. Just like you shower daily to stay physically clean, your energy body needs regular maintenance. You're absorbing frequencies all day, from conversations, environments, even digital interactions. Without release, these accumulate. They weigh you down. Simple practices like grounding, visualization, sound healing, or even energetic clearing with intention help reset your field. One effective method is visualization. Picture your body surrounded by light. See any heaviness dissolving into the earth. Breathe deeply. Set the intention to release what no longer serves you. Sound is another powerful cleanser. Frequencies like 528 Hz or 432 Hz promote balance. Singing, chanting, or even humming raises internal vibration instantly. Don't underestimate the power of these small adjustments. They create the space necessary for inner guidance to come through more clearly. As your frequency stabilizes, something profound happens. Synchronicities increase. Intuition deepens. You start attracting people and experiences that match your inner state. Life no longer feels random. It begins to echo your alignment. You start sensing things before they happen, not out of fear, but from subtle knowing. Your inner guidance becomes not just something you hear. It becomes the rhythm you live by. This is why frequency matters. The universe doesn't speak in words. It speaks in resonance. And when your resonance matches the signal of clarity, truth, and alignment, everything responds. It's not magic. It's mechanics. The clearer your signal, the clearer your path. Now that you understand how frequency influences your connection to guidance, we move to a powerful layer of the language itself. How symbols, dreams, and archetypes carry messages from beyond logic. The next piece of this language isn't heard. It's seen. And it speaks through the code of your subconscious. The message isn't always spoken. Often it's shown. A fox crossing your path just when you feel uncertain. A recurring dream of falling just before a life decision. A symbol you keep seeing, an eye, a spiral, a doorway. These are not coincidences. They're messages written in the native language of the subconscious. Symbols. Symbols are the raw alphabet of inner guidance. They bypass logic. They go straight to feeling, recognition, instinct. You don't need to explain a symbol to feel its weight. You just know. And that knowing is the point. This is how the universe speaks when words aren't enough. It speaks in dreams. It speaks in metaphors. It speaks through archetypes. the ancient psychological blueprints etched into the collective psyche of humanity. You dream of water, not once but repeatedly, and each time the setting changes, sometimes the ocean, sometimes a river, sometimes a flood. What does it mean? To the rational mind, it's noise. To the inner self, it's signal. Water is not just water. In symbolic language, water often represents emotion, intuition, and the unconscious. The form it takes shows how you're relating to those aspects. A peaceful lake, emotional balance. A raging storm, inner turmoil. A flood, emotional overwhelm, possibly due to something unprocessed. These meanings aren't arbitrary. They arise from universal archetypes, patterns that stretch across time, culture, and myth. Carl Jung called them the building blocks of the unconscious. He noticed that across all societies, the same images and storylines repeat. The hero's journey, the wise elder, the shadow figure, the rebirth. These aren't literary devices. They are psychological and spiritual truths experienced in symbolic form. And when they appear in your life, in your dreams, in recurring images, or even in art and media that resonate deeply, they're communicating something that logic cannot reach. You don't choose your symbols. They choose you. The ones that keep showing up are showing up for a reason. They're keys. They're mirrors. And often, they're calls to pay attention to what lies just beneath the surface. This symbolic communication happens constantly, not just in sleep. It happens when you feel strangely drawn to a particular object, animal, or pattern. It happens when the same phrase shows up in different places. It happens when you feel haunted or inspired by an image you can't explain. Your job isn't to analyze it immediately. It's to stay present with it. Let the symbol unfold. Let it work on you. This is the opposite of intellectual analysis. It's intuitive recognition. It's letting the image open the feeling it carries, because that feeling is the message. Now let's talk about dreams. You spend roughly a third of your life asleep. That's more than 20 years by the time you're 60. Most of that time, you're dreaming even if you don't remember it. And during those hours, the rational mind is offline. The conscious filters that govern your daily perception are loosened. The result is an open portal to your subconscious, and sometimes to even deeper layers of awareness. Dreams are a realm where symbols run free. They're direct transmissions from the parts of you that are usually quieted by waking life. They reflect your hidden fears, your true desires, your emotional state, and sometimes your guidance. But not all dreams are symbolic. Some are emotional purging. Others are neural reorganizing. But the ones that stand out, the vivid ones, the ones you can't forget, those are different. Those are often messages. To work with them, start with remembering. Keep a journal near your bed. Write down anything you recall, even fragments. Over time, patterns emerge. Certain themes will repeat. Certain settings will recur. Notice the mood, the symbols, the emotions. Don't interpret with logic. Reflect with presence. Ask, what does this symbol feel like? Where have I seen it before? What part of me responds to it? You'll begin to see your dreams forming their own symbolic language. And that language is unique to you. It's personal. It's tailored. It's precise. Now, beyond personal symbols are collective archetypes. The mother, the warrior, the trickster, the healer, the shadow. These characters exist in myths, movies, legends, not by accident, but because they represent energies that live inside you. When you resonate deeply with a character in a story, that's not just entertainment. That's activation. The archetype is alive in you. When certain archetypes show up repeatedly in media, in your reflections, or even in the people around you, it's a signal that that energy wants to be integrated. You're being asked to embody it, heal it, or confront it. If the trickster keeps showing up in your world, you may be avoiding hard truths through humor. If the shadow appears often, you may be ready to face repressed parts of yourself. These patterns are not random. They're invitations. Symbols, dreams, archetypes. Together, they form a multi-layered map of your consciousness. You are not separate from the universe. You are woven into it. And the symbols that arise in your reality are clues about how that tapestry is unfolding. Learning this language takes time. It's not about decoding everything instantly. It's about developing symbolic awareness, seeing life as more than physical matter, and understanding that meaning can come through metaphor. Start small. Notice the animals that appear in unexpected ways. Notice the colors that repeat, the images that stir something deep inside you. These are not just personal quirks. They are energetic messages. Pay attention to the stories that draw you in, the myths that won't leave you alone. These are not just interests. They are mirrors of what wants to awaken within you. When you see life as symbolic, it becomes multidimensional. Everything becomes potential guidance. Every image becomes a doorway. Now, an important reminder. Not all symbols are external. Your body itself is symbolic. Where you carry tension, where you feel release, what sensations appear when you speak certain truths, these are messages too. They're part of the same code. Symbolic literacy means learning to read your body as well as your dreams. Learning to read your emotional responses as well as your thoughts. And in doing so, you become fluent in the language that most people ignore. Because here's the truth. Symbols are subtle, but their impact is massive. They're the connective tissue between your inner guidance and your external world. They don't answer questions directly. They show you where to look. The more you respect these messages, the more consistent they become. You start dreaming more vividly. You start seeing metaphors in ordinary life. You start feeling a deeper thread running through your experiences. And that thread is your alignment. The universe is constantly speaking. Through symbols, through dreams, through archetypes. It's not about figuring it all out. It's about listening with your whole being. Now, we've explored the signs, the signals, and the symbols. But there's another layer of guidance even closer to home. Your emotions. They are not reactions. They are resonance. And next, we'll explore how emotional signals hold the clearest, most immediate truth available to you, and how to stop ignoring what they're already telling you. You know the moment. You hear something and it hits, not just mentally but physically. A line of truth sends a chill through your spine. A decision lights up your chest with a wave of calm. A lie leaves a knot in your stomach before your brain even catches on. That's not imagination. That's resonance. Your emotions are not just responses. They are data. They are signals. They are the most immediate, precise, and intimate form of guidance you have. Emotions are the energetic translators of your alignment. They show you, moment by moment, whether you are connected to your truth or disconnected from it. Most people treat emotion as a reaction to the external, something that happens to them. But the truth is far more powerful. Emotion is a compass. It doesn't just reflect what's happening. It reveals your relationship to what's happening. When you feel off, tight, irritated, flat, heavy, it's not just mood. It's misalignment. When you feel open, clear, energized, expansive, it's not just positivity. It's alignment. Let's be clear. This isn't about chasing happiness. It's about learning to read the full spectrum of emotional signals without distortion. Every emotion has a function. Every feeling has a frequency. Sadness is a signal to release. Anger is a signal to confront. Fear is a signal to protect or pause. Joy is a signal to move forward. Peace is a signal of internal coherence. These aren't moral judgments. They're energetic instructions. But here's the problem. Most people suppress, ignore, or override these signals. They're taught to distrust emotion, to avoid discomfort, to numb, to push through, to intellectualize. The result? Static, confusion, lost direction. When you disconnect from your emotions, you disconnect from your guidance. Now let's break it down. Every time you feel something deeply, your body is responding to the truth or the distortion of your current situation. That truth may be subtle. It may not show up in words, but your body knows. Think about how you react when something feels wrong. Your stomach tightens, your breath shortens, you feel a subtle pull away, or perhaps a sudden heaviness. That is not anxiety out of nowhere. That is your system saying, something is off here. On the flip side, when something resonates as right, Even if it makes no logical sense, your body often responds with ease. Your breath deepens. Your heart opens. You feel light, energized, like something clicked into place. That is resonance. That is emotional alignment. And that's the clearest yes the universe can give you. So how do you use this in a practical way? Start by listening without judgment. Most people try to categorize emotions as good or bad. But the truth is, emotion is neutral. It becomes distorted when we resist it. If you feel anxious, don't ask, how do I get rid of this? Ask, what is this showing me? Often, anxiety is a byproduct of ignoring your truth, of being in a place, a decision, or a mindset that your deeper self already disagrees with. If you feel numb, don't force inspiration. Ask, what am I avoiding feeling? Numbness is often unprocessed emotion beneath the surface. When you stop judging your emotions and start reading them, they become a guidance system, not a burden. Another key principle: emotion precedes clarity. Don't wait until you understand something to honor how it feels. The body knows before the brain does. That gut pull, that tight chest, that rush of energy, that's guidance speaking faster than thought. When you train yourself to trust the feeling first, you'll often find the reason later. But by then, you've already made the aligned move. That's emotional fluency, and it only grows with practice. Let's also address projection. Many people confuse emotional reaction with guidance, but they're actually responding to past wounds, not present truth. This is where inner work becomes essential. If someone triggers you, your emotional response may not be about them. It may be about unresolved patterns. So ask, is this feeling from now or from before? If the emotion feels disproportionate, it's probably an old echo. This doesn't make the feeling wrong. It makes it a signal that healing is needed, and that healing restores clarity to your inner guidance. Unprocessed emotion distorts the signal. Integrated emotion sharpens it. Now, emotional resonance doesn't just apply to people or situations, it applies to choices. When facing a decision, instead of listing pros and cons, ask your body. Say option A out loud. Feel into it. Notice your breath, your posture, your heart rate. Then do the same with option B. One will likely bring contraction. The other, expansion. That's your answer. This technique bypasses mental noise and accesses your intuitive intelligence through emotional feedback. It's not about logic. It's about alignment. And what about other people's emotions? You're not only receiving your own signals, you're picking up on the energy fields of others. This is especially true if you're empathic. It's vital to discern what is yours and what is not. If you suddenly feel off after being around someone, but felt clear before, that might not be your emotion. That's energetic influence. Ground yourself. Clear your space. Reclaim your center. This way, you ensure the emotional signals you're reading are your own. Another tool, tracking. Just like you track dreams or synchronicities, track your emotional patterns. What emotions show up around certain people, tasks, environments? What time of day are you most aligned or most disconnected? This creates a map. Over time, you'll see where your energy rises and falls. You'll identify what feeds your alignment and what drains it. From there, you make conscious adjustments, not out of avoidance, but out of precision. The more fluently you speak the language of emotion, the more accurate your inner compass becomes. You stop needing to overanalyze every situation. You stop outsourcing your truth. You start living in real-time alignment. This is emotional mastery, not control, not suppression, but clarity. You are no longer reactive. You are responsive. You feel deeply and you choose wisely. Here's what it all comes down to. Your emotions are your most honest mirror. They cannot lie. They can be distorted, but they cannot be faked. When something resonates, it carries a charge. That charge is information. That information is truth. You already have the map. You've just been conditioned to ignore it. But once you begin to trust the emotional signals, not as flaws but as feedback, you step into a new kind of intelligence. Not linear, not learned, but lived. Now, with the full language of inner guidance becoming clearer, from signs and synchronicity to intuition, vibration, symbols, and emotional resonance. There's one final piece. Speaking this language back to the universe. Not just hearing the signals, but aligning your thoughts, actions, and energy to respond. And that's where we're going next. You've felt the signs. You've heard the signals. You've sensed the truth in symbols, dreams, energy, and emotion. But guidance is not just something you receive. It's something you respond to. And how you respond determines the direction of your reality. Inner guidance is not passive. It's dynamic. It asks something of you. It invites you not only to notice, but to align, to act, to embody. This final phase is where everything comes together. Because the ultimate purpose of guidance is not just clarity. It's creation. So what does it actually mean to align with inner guidance? It means living in a way where your external actions reflect your internal knowing. It means making choices that honor the truth of your signals, even when they defy convention. It means trusting the quiet whisper more than the loud expectation. When your inner and outer worlds move in sync, life begins to organize itself around that coherence. You're no longer forcing outcomes. You're no longer chasing validation. You're operating from a deep center, and that center is connected to something greater than logic, greater than control. This is where your life becomes a living conversation with the universe. But alignment doesn't just happen. It must be cultivated, and it begins with presence. The clearer you are in the now, the more accurate your responses will be. You can't align with guidance if you're living in future projections or past regrets. Your power is now. Your clarity is now. And your ability to act on guidance only exists now. So each day, start here, pause, breathe, feel. Ask yourself, what feels true in this moment? What wants to move through me? That question becomes your compass. Next, simplify. Guidance thrives in spaciousness. Overcommitment, distraction, and mental clutter drown out the signal. Create space internally and externally. Let go of the things that pull your energy without purpose. Let go of the relationships that distort your voice. Let go of the habits that numb your awareness. You're not here to perform. You're here to respond, to live in alignment with your actual truth, not the version that fits expectations. And that truth will often ask for stillness before clarity. Now, let's talk about intentional practice. Just like physical fitness, alignment requires consistency. It's not something you visit once a month. It's something you train into your system. A few daily practices make a powerful difference. 1. Morning check-in. Before engaging with the world, check in with yourself. Notice your emotional state. Scan your body. Set an intention not for productivity but for alignment. Let that guide the shape of your day. 2. Intuitive journaling. Write without editing. Let your inner voice speak freely. Often, the wisdom you need is just below the surface, but it needs a path to expression. 3. Embodied movement. Movement brings stuck energy into flow. Whether it's stretching, walking, or dancing, move with awareness. Ask, what does my body want to express today? Then let it speak. 4. Nighttime integration. Before bed, reflect. Where did I follow my guidance today? Where did I override it? What did I learn about my own signals? This builds intuitive memory and deepens the relationship between your conscious and unconscious mind. But alignment isn't always comfortable. Sometimes it asks you to say no when people expect yes. Sometimes it asks you to change paths when comfort says stay. Sometimes it leads you into uncertainty, not to punish, but to realign you with potential you've forgotten. This is where courage enters. Courage is the bridge between knowing and living. It's the choice to trust your inner frequency over the fear of rejection or the craving for approval. The more you choose alignment, the more momentum builds. Life starts reflecting it back. Conversations shift. Opportunities arrive. Synchronicities increase. And your confidence in your guidance grows. But that shift begins with choice. Daily. Deliberate. Honest. There's a truth that many overlook. The universe is not just guiding you. It's responding to you. Your thoughts carry frequency. Your emotions ripple outward. Your actions signal your priorities. You are always creating consciously or unconsciously. The question is, are you creating from alignment or from conditioning? When you align with your guidance, you shift from reaction to creation. You stop living by accident and start living by design. And that design isn't about control. It's about coherence. When what you feel, believe, speak, and do are unified, you become a magnet for aligned experiences. This isn't theory. This frequency at work. To anchor this into your life, start by creating intentional rituals that remind you of your power to choose. For example, light a candle each morning as a symbolic reminder of clarity. Speak one truth out loud each day, even if it's uncomfortable. Set boundaries that honor your energy without apology. Make decisions not from fear of lack, but from trust in guidance. These small actions have large echoes. They tell the universe, I'm listening, I'm ready, I'm in. And when you live from that place, your life becomes art shaped not by pressure, but by presence. Now let's speak directly. There's a part of you that already knows what to do. It knows what needs to end. It knows what wants to begin. It knows who you are beneath the layers, beyond the noise. That part is not found through logic. It's revealed through listening. And once you start listening, you'll hear it everywhere, in the space between thoughts, in the hum of silence, in the signals that once seemed invisible. The language of the universe has always been speaking. You were simply taught to ignore it. But now you've remembered. So here's the call. No more waiting. No more pretending you don't feel what you feel. No more outsourcing your truth. You are the receiver. You are the interpreter. You are the transmitter. And this entire time, the guidance wasn't outside of you. It was within, waiting to be trusted. This is the language of the universe. It's not learned. It's remembered. It's not rare. It's constant. And now you understand it. So speak it, live it, honor it, because the more you align with your inner guidance, the more extraordinary your reality becomes.